Hey, congratulations. You made it to episode 2, and I made it to Copenhagen.
Fantastic. Look at that. 2.
Yeah.
All right. This is a Blazor puzzle, right? We're talking about
Yes.
different tricks, different things, solving problems around Blazor, our favorite
Right.
UI framework.
Absolutely. And I'm Carl Franklin, and that's Jeff Fritz. And if you don't know what we're doing here, just what Jeff said. We give you a problem. You have to solve it. You write in, tell us what it is. And if you're right, we'll pick from those right answers. And one lucky winner gets one of these. A Blazor puzzle mug.
Very cool.
So last week we had our first challenge. And now we should review what that challenge was, and we'll give away the answer.
Did we have anybody send in the right answer? How did it look? Gosh.
We had a slew of answers, and
Yeah.
I would say maybe 30% of them were correct.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Did folks find other things?
They did, but you know,
Okay.
most of those were red herrings that we left in there. They weren't critical. You know, there was a real nasty one. So let's take a look at it.
All right.
So I'll just run it. So if you recall, we have the famous Hello World page, but the counter was the thing that we changed, right?
Yeah, look at that. And you could put a timer in there with it too, so it automatically counted.
Yeah, that's the idea. And some people thought, well, if you change the interval, it's not counting seconds. Yeah, that's right, because it's a counter. It's not a timer for seconds. If we do it for 1 second, yeah, it's going to increment every second. But look at this, and it's disabled. But we can go home and come back, change the interval to 5 seconds. And some people said, well, now it's not, it should be 6, after 5 seconds. No, that's not the point. It's
Every
incrementing a counter every 5 seconds. All right. So here's the problem. And I have to restart it in order to show the problem. So let me restart.
Okay.
All right. So this time I'm going to set the counter to 30 seconds. And it'll go once. And then after 30 seconds, this guy will fire. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here.
Okay.
And it will happen after 30 seconds. We'll just zoom up ahead. There we go. So now the
All right.
current count is 1. We set it to 2. 30 seconds have gone by. Okay. Now back here, I'm going to go home,
Okay.
but I'm going to leave that breakpoint there. Do you think it'll actually fire?
Well, you navigated away from the page. You'd think
Yeah.
it wouldn't.
You think it wouldn't, would you? But 30 seconds later, boom, it's happening again. So what do we learn here? That page, that counter page, is abandoned in memory. If I start another one, okay, I'm going to get a current count of 1. But I've also got the timer for the 30-second thing happening
Yeah.
at the same time. So the reason is that this timer doesn't ever stop, right? And so the way that we can make it stop is by implementing an interface. And the interface is IJSRuntime. And IJSRuntime means that we have a IJSRuntime.dispose method that gets called when the page is about to go out of memory. And now I can basically say that, hey, if this timer is not null, that's what the question mark is, dispose it, which stops the timer, removes it from memory. Now, it's not wise to put a breakpoint here, because if you put a breakpoint, it takes too long. It's just going to bypass you. That's what happens. But that's the solution. So let's try it again. This time I'll go for 10 seconds. And I just realized I didn't put the breakpoint there, so let's do that. 10 seconds later, it's going to be 1. We'll continue and we'll go home. And now, if that thing is working, we shouldn't ever get this elapsed event again. And let's just go forward in time a little bit. I'll fill up 10 seconds worth of blah, blah, blah. And guess what? It's not firing because we disposed it.
Now, this is important for any disposable object that you might be using in your Blazor components or Blazor pages. You need to clean up after them. Otherwise, you're going to run into resource leaks, whether it's memory or processor or something just lingering, hanging around in the background there.
Exactly, Jeff. So dispose, we thought we were done with this, when we got all this memory, and who needs to dispose things because memory just happens. Well, a timer is a kind of a pernicious little guy. He'll just keep firing and it'll keep running code that you didn't necessarily want it to run, and you'll have no way to tell.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you could be handing off handles over to JavaScript objects that could be hanging on to those because they're not disposed and cleaned up as well. So make sure you clean up interactions with your JavaScript runtime as well.
Right. So let's talk about the winner. Because
Who do we got?
As I told you, we had a slew of right answers.
Yes.
And the winner this week is Amjad Khan.
All right. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And we picked him from the slew of right answers that we had. There were hundreds. It was crazy. And so what we're going to do now is send Amjad Khan a mug and show you the next puzzle.
All right.
So this is a demo of calling JavaScript from C# and calling C# from JavaScript. And when you press the button, this button right here, start JavaScript, this button clicked, event happens.
And that's a C# button click because it has the @onClick prefix.
That's right, Jeff.
All right.
So right here, we're taking our JSRuntime, which we injected, IJSRuntime. That's how we do JavaScript. And we're calling invoke void async, do some JavaScript, and we're passing the object reference for this particular page. So .NET object reference.create of this being index razor, and that happens. So where is do some JavaScript? Well, it's in index.html. So here's the do some JavaScript global function. Now it's global because I attached it to window.
Sure.
And here's the Blazor component that we're passing in. And now I wait 5 seconds with set timeout. There's the 5,000 milliseconds. And then I call this function, this anonymous function here, which calls Blazor component invoke method async, which means it's going to call C#. Something happened.
So you've got a nice loop built here showing off how from Blazor we can call JavaScript, and from JavaScript we can call into not just Blazor but .NET code. Very cool stuff.
It is very cool. Yeah. So here's our something happened. I mark it with the JSInvokable attribute. It's got to be public async task, even though there's no async anything in here. And then I set this message string, right? This message to hello JavaScript calling. And then we show that in this, paragraph right there.
Okay.
Simple, right?
Yep. Full loop. Makes perfect sense how it's going to come back around, put some content into our .NET page. Okay.
Exactly. So this is all the text that I told you about. And I'm going to start JavaScript. And we're going to wait 5 seconds. And then we should see a message right down here. We should see a message right down here. But the message is never shown. So the question is, why? Why isn't it shown?
Yeah. Hey, viewers out there, take a look at the source code for this thing. Can you help us out? Get us a fix.
Yeah. Right.
So if folks want to submit, if they want to enter the contest, they want to win that mug, how do they get involved? How do they send you information about what the solution is?
That's a very good question, Jeff. They send me email, Carl at appvnext.com. BlazorPuzzle 2 is the subject.
Okay.
And you just say, here's why this thing doesn't work. You nimrods.
and check out just below. There's going to be a link to the source code so that you can go through and take a look and get a copy locally and figure out what's broken inside of our little application this week.
Tell us, and good luck. We'll see you next week on the Blazor Puzzle.
Take care.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out blazortrain.com and the .NETshow.com for more great content.